Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Upstart holdings. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. Now, in the case of this chart, I could even argue that from the all-time high in October 2021 we actually formed a 5-wave move to the downside. And in that case, I would be extra worried that this resistance that we have here in orange from the $46 level up to the $189 level could provide enough of a resistance that we could even go and continue this downtrend. It would suggest direct continuation of this downtrend, this entire move, where we would be looking for new all-time lows, and then this entire uptrend would actually fail. Now, it isn't necessary that this is a 5-wave move to the downside, and it isn't necessary for it to continue the movement to the downside. It is just a threat that is very relevant on this chart. And so far we had significant resistance here at these levels previously multiple times, and we managed to break eventually above them, but still we are overall within resistance, and instead we are even creating lower highs possibly. So this is a pretty serious threat that even the C wave to the downside could have already started, and we could be within the third wave right now. But this possible threat of direct continuation to the downside does not prevent us to track an uptrend. And from the all-time low, I could argue that here we are creating, in the best case scenario to be honest, a 5-wave move to the upside in a leading diagonal. Now, I say leading diagonal because this wave 1 clearly developed as a 3-wave move. No way to actually count this as a 5-wave move. And in that case, I would also expect this third wave to overall develop within an ABC structure. And I also might add, I am not entirely sure where this wave 2 bottom really is. Could be here, could be here, but realistically it doesn't matter, because if I wanted to count this as a 5-wave move within the A wave, I could not do it even within a diagonal structure, because here I have a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then I would be looking for a 5th wave. But we have a tiny problem. Here, within the supposed wave 4, we failed to hold any kind of support when we broke below the 61.8% retracement pretty decisively, I might add. So instead, I would prefer to be looking for a different interpretation where this is a wave A up, either from here or from here, doesn't matter too much. I could adjust the support zone for the different scenarios, but they would be extremely similar overall, and nothing would really change. And in this case, I will continue to be looking for continuation to the upside only within the idea of this as an AB setup that could still reset. It is not confirmed that this wave B bottomed here, but it still has support from the $53 level down to the $28.6 level. Now, in this movement to the upside within the wave C, I would be looking to form a 5-wave move that would ideally reach, let's get a target for this. So the ideal target for the C wave to the upside, assuming that the wave B bottomed, would be at the $146 level. Now, that may be a bit of a problem, because actually the ideal target for the wave 3 would be at the $247.6 level. Now, this wave C, this entire movement that may develop after this wave C is complete, may be an overall A wave, and then we get another wave B, and then another C wave to complete the wave 3 to the upside. But until we actually get there, we can focus solely on this C wave that is now developing. And before we get here in the shorter time frame within this wave C, I want to caution you again that this wave B realistically could have topped here, and we could be within the C wave to the downside, where we would very likely be going to new all-time lows. So I can even provide you an area of resistance, but in this case I believe we broke above it, and yes, we did break above the 78.6% retracement, so that is a good sign for the uptrend that we managed to break the resistance, although we did push back down. I would like to see a break above this wave B top to invalidate the direct movement to the downside in the wave C, although I warn you again, this movement, this wave B, could just be reset by the next movement to the upside, so not even this is really a confirmation or even an indication that we are within the white scenario. For a rather clear indication, we would need to break above the larger 78.6% retracement at the $189 level, and for complete confirmation that this downtrend within the orange scenario would get invalidated, I would need a break above the all-time high at around the $402 level. Now we are quite far away from that, so we will continue to focus on this uptrend, but mainly within this wave C for now. And within it, as I was saying, I am looking for a 5-wave move to the upside, and there is still technically a way to look here even for an impulse, but it is pretty close to invalidation, and I find it very, very unlikely. So yeah, I will present it quickly, but for direct continuation to the upside in an impulse, I would expect here to be a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, a 1, 2 here, then another 1, 2 here, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave that would develop to the upside. The problem with this interpretation, and this is different from what we have on the chart, but the problem with this interpretation is that I would need to hold the support here for a wave 4 that goes, as I was mentioning previously on the larger time frame, it would need to hold the 50% retracement. Now, as you may see, we did so far hold it, even if we got a couple of breaks below it, doesn't really matter, it did hold, but the likelihood of this working out here in a 1-2 setup with a third wave to follow is quite low. If you know the retracement levels for a wave 2, we broke below all of them quite seriously. So we also have here basically a double bottom. These very, very rarely do hold, and I would rather be focusing here on a diagonal pattern in this case. But I'm just letting you know, if we manage somehow to push directly higher, this could still turn into an impulse within the wave C. But I will focus on the idea that this is developing as a diagonal pattern, where this is an ABC structure that is developing, and in this case, let me make this a smaller degree, but in this case, I can allow this wave B to go from the $67 level down to the $50 level with no problem of expectations being lowered for a continuation within the third wave to the upside in this scenario. And assuming that this actually developed quite possibly as a 5-wave move to the downside, I would be pretty much expecting to have continuation to the downside on top of the double low that we just talked about. And yeah, I would be looking for direct downside here in this C wave. Possibly there is a reset of the wave B, but I would be looking here for the resistance area in yellow from the $69.6 level up to the $81 level for an indication that if we break above the 78.6% retracement, we can look for direct continuation to the upside. But personally, I prefer direct pushes lower to complete the overall wave C, and the ideal target for a wave C where the B wave topped here would be the $53.4 level. And for now, there isn't really much else to add. These are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.